Greetings, fellow Luddites and flat earthers. Welcome back to Curmudgeon Manor. Today we're here in the garage. It's probably been close to 5 years since I put up a video that really meant anything. About 3 years ago I put up a series of videos about a cat that we have at work. Lots changed around the manor, but then again a lot's the same. One of the things that's changed is the old white truck that we had, the F-150, was recently traded for this 2018 Ecosport, which I kind of like. It actually gets me double the gas mileage that I was getting with the truck. And since it's a 2018 and used, I got it at a pretty good price and got a pretty healthy trade-in value for my truck. One of the other things that's a little different is since the reason I traded the truck off was the trailer's gone. We sold it about 4 years ago. Well, the summer of COVID. What's that been, 3+ years now? And replaced it with this shed, which is full of stuff, mostly garden stuff, like the lawn tractor and lawnmower and that sort of thing. So one of the reasons I wanted to make this particular video about this car in particular is that it needed a battery. Now, I purchased this in January. And it has that feature that shuts the engine off when you come up to a stoplight, and then as soon as you release the brake, the engine starts back up. Well, you can disable it with a switch, but that feature had never functioned on this car. And I thought, well, that's cool, I don't have to worry about it. Well, the reason it didn't function is because the battery was, shall we say, not quite up to snuff. And apparently it has a sensing unit in the body computer or whatever that determines the battery state and determines whether or not you can just shut the engine off willy-nilly while you're driving. So that function never worked. Well, the other morning I got in to go to work and the battery was so weak that the engine just kind of went but it did start. And I thought, well, I'm heading to the parts house and can go get a battery. So I put the new battery in, and after driving it to work and back, the function of it starting and stopping started to work. That's a lot of stops and starts. But anyway, it needed a new battery, and a new battery has made a different car out of it. Really, it has electronic or electric assist steering, so that helps that with a stronger battery. So it drives better, it runs better. Plus that stupid function works now, and I have to hit a switch every time to shut it off. But the thing about the Ecosport is this car was developed by Ford for the Asian market initially back in, I think, 2003 or something was the first gen. Don't hold me to that. Somewhere in the early 2000s. This is considered, I think, the third or fourth generation of this car. It came out around 2017, maybe 2018. But all of these have been built in India. And like I said, they were built apparently for the Asian, European, Brazilian, any place other than America. Well, all the other automakers come out with these little cute utes, and Ford didn't have one in the stable other than this, so they kind of made this meet the USA standards and brought it over in 2018. So this is the first year this car was available. Every video I tried to find about doing anything on this car is pretty well done, but it's all in Hindu. It's all in India, because apparently this car must sell like hotcakes and real popular over in India. They got spare tire kits for it, Raptor grills you can get for it, sport racks, all kinds of neat stuff. So I went to find one how to change the battery out, because it's got it, and you'll see in a minute, I'm going to show you. It's got this complex, it's not just positive, negative. Now we got wires going in, covers, why? I don't know. But anyway, that's the way it is. So I went to find a simple, easy battery change thing on this. All I found was a bunch of Indians running around, some without even talking. They just showed you that's all you need to do, is just see what's going on. You don't need explanations if you're going to do this. So anyway, we're going to talk about replacing the battery on a 2018 Ecosport. And it's pretty simple. So let's get started. Okay then, this is the battery. This is the positive cover. One I was telling you about, we just don't have negative and positive anymore. We got convolution happening here. Now, cool thing is if you want to jump start this, you just open this up, place your positive cable on here, negative properly go right here, and then you can charge the battery and jump start it. Now, if you want to replace the battery, you release this top cover here, open that up. And as you can see, like I was saying, you got all these wires here. And to remove this, it's pretty simple. You remove this nut right here and release this wire and put it out of your way. Once you've done that, you get over here and release this nut. This is a 10 millimeter. Let's see if I'm pointing at it correctly. Yeah, there. The 10 millimeter, and that's the positive post. That's a release for the positive post. Once you've got that wire, which is also a 10 millimeter nut, and you set that aside and you release this, this comes up and it will lay over this way, and then that gets your positive all taken care of. Now, of course, when you're changing the battery, you want to start with the negative first. And back here, similar situation with the positive. Back here, you've got a 10 millimeter nut with a little wedge apparatus there. You loosen that nut, wiggle your cable loose, and you want to disconnect this little sensing wire right here. It's got a little pinch clamp. You pinch it, release that, set that over here, and then this cable, negative cable, can go over here, and that's out of your way. Next thing is real simple. You got a nut here, one right here, and one right there. So you got 3 10 millimeter nuts. That takes this bracket off of the top of the battery. And then there's a couple of little handles that raise up on the battery, and you pick it up in the front and guide it out front first. And that's about it. And then you go back in with it, butt in first, and then put the bracket back on it, put the positive cable situation back together, and then your negative cable, and make sure you punch this back in there. I'm guessing, and don't hold me to it, but I'm guessing that what this 2-wire deal here is that's what monitors the state of the battery to determine whether or not you can do the auto start-stop function. And like I said, the first 3 months I had this car, that function didn't work until I put this new battery in. So the old battery must have been in such a state that the system decided we don't want to stop and start the engine anymore than we have to. So that's pretty much it in English. And I guess that'll about do for now. Get the camera back around here and we'll say our proper goodbyes. Well, kind of like I said at the beginning of this deal, it's been roughly 5 years since I made any content here at the Manor. And I think the last thing I did of any consequence is I made a bourbon bottle lampshade or some deal like that. So anyway, I got this Ecosport, and I've added a few features to it. I've got a set of mud flaps for it. I got a set of WeatherTech floor mats. That's pretty much it. Just personalize it some. And then of course I had to put the new battery in it. I also have a cabin air filter for this thing, and watching videos on that, I'm sure this one's never been changed because it's looks like a real pain. And I'll probably make a video about that. So I guess other than nothing much has changed, and yet quite a bit has changed, as you can see. You know, all the crap that the world's been through the last 3 to 5 years. Looks like it's just going to keep going on. So until next time, fellow Luddites and Flat Earthers, goodbye for now. Off.